We are back, this time to continue our implementation of our document indexing. Last time we worked preparing the data, and now you have already here the data ready to be persisted and into Redis vector database. And in this lesson, we are gonna implement that part that is missing, which is basically get the data into Redis. Let's get started. So the first thing, let's create a new file, Python file, and we'll call it persist data. And on this file, I will copy some imports that I have here that you're gonna need. I'm doing this here because my ID is not recognize those fields or those classes. I don't really know why, but it's only those that is not recognized. But in fact, it's here and works fine if you run it. I don't really need this one. Let's get, so what I have here is just some imports for the Redis fields. And we have the config where we get the index name that we're going to be calling. The index name we're going to be called chatflow.doc. What else? We have here the prepared data that we just created. You're going to use it again. And we have the Redis connection here, with Redis connection. And now we are going to have our, let's say, I'm gonna call this the entry point for our script. We're gonna call it if name. Don't really need all that, but then we're gonna do this prepare data. This is just to be able to run the script straight. And for example, let me just explain this one very quick. So this one we were running with this, and now we are gonna just call this method straight, which means when we're importing, this will not be executed. You can then import it here and not be executed until we call the function itself. Yeah, so basically that's the start. So let's say what we're gonna be calling here is basically we're gonna prepare the data, and we're gonna let's say load the data, no, persist the data. And how we're gonna just call straight persist data, and it just create function, and this persist data will be basically loading the content for the file from the data itself. Better called load data because persist it would be the final step, which is persist. Now let's start with load data. Then you're gonna do everything. The function load data, and this load data we're gonna read the vector data, and say the vector data. Then we're gonna read the meta data. We're gonna be read data, so that create this function, and then this one as well. Read metadata. That's it. So one important thing that we're gonna check before anything, it is to see if we already have the data in the database itself. If it is already there, you're gonna just skip this step. So we're gonna check if Redis gets con db, I think it's db size, yeah, perfect. If it is bigger than, let's say, the value. So we're gonna just clean that already loaded and return. And if not, then you continue with our code here. Let's work on the reading. I'm thinking it worth to kind of maybe name all the steps here first. After this, we're gonna persist data. And then we're gonna create index. Yeah, I think that's the main step. Read data and create the index to index the data that you have persisted here. So then implement the read vector data. The vector data, it is pen vector data. Well, I think we call it vectors read and return. Yeah, paste that. Metadata the same. Then the data is metadata. Then we have the data. Then you're gonna persist the data, and you need to pass the data, the metadata in here. And then data vector metadata. Yeah, and the persistence. Let's see if what is given here. I don't know. No, not really. You want first. I need to create the key first, and the key will be based on the index. Not the index. Create another. As a prefix. We're gonna be chat flow doc. Then I'm gonna say the vector ID. Perfect. So with the key, I'm gonna basically get the metadata itself. Metadata. Vector ID. We're gonna get the ID and access the metadata itself. And I'm gonna say item meta metadata. Hit the metadata, and now I'm gonna create the mapping. So the map is gonna be item, title, text, article. I don't think I need article. I'm gonna save some space. I'm gonna just create like this, and I'm gonna call it app. I think we changed to app. Title. I need the ID, item ID. Yeah, and basically that, I think. So then you had this red cone. That's that. And then I get the key and mapping. I don't need this. So what you are doing here is basically adding a prefix to our key, so that again we can set up an index for this prefix and later. And then you're just building this key, then getting the metadata for the given key, and build a mapping, which will basically be stored in the Redis for the given key. So you probably know that the Redis is a key values store sort of database, and you just create our key, and you have the value to our key would be the kind of dictionary. And that is basically it. With this, we can kind of move on. Now let's implement the create index which will be basically you have to define our fields. I don't think what's suggested here is correct, so let's just type everything. So the text field would be say vector field. It's gonna be the vector field, and this vector field will take few parameters. First, the name, dimension. The dimension we will gonna use the dimension from the OpenAI is much bigger than that, so this will give us a better accuracy. And the type will be cosine distance type. And this is not really correct. This, then we will have the type of the index, which is HNSW, and then we pass the parameters here. And there is two parameters. First parameter, it is the type, which is float. The second parameter is dimension, which is 1036. Then we have the distance metric, which will have LE2 as an option, but our distance metric would be cosine or cosine. And the initial cap, the next one, initial capacity be 100. Okay. That for we're gonna have another field which is gonna be app field, which will be tag type field, and we're gonna be app. And then with these two fields, our index would contain only these two fields because that's the only one we wanna need. So now let's just create the index then, which is create ft index name, and then create the index with the following fields. And we're gonna also have a definition. Index definition. We'll have our index definition will contain only the prefix. So doc. I think we add with underscore. Keep it for underscore. Hit the prefix, and we'll index type. Index type. Indented properly, or I'm the wrong. Okay, name. Prefix index type will be index. And yeah, so that's basically it. Our vector. Well, I need this data. So we're creating two fields, one type vector, which will contain few properties, and one type tag field, which will be used as fields of this index and this index would contain chat flow doc as a prefix. So this chat flow docs here, it have to match with the key, what we have in the key, and how in and differentiate the key to be indexed. As I said, Redis has key values, so it could have another values key on the database, and we don't want everything to be indexed. We're just interested in the chat flow doc. So yeah, I think that's basically it. Let's check, see if it works. Right. Okay, we have some problems. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. We cannot concatenate string and int. Okay, good to know. How to fix that? Interesting. And okay, that's there. Title. Hitting metadata. Have that. What's the problem here? Just metadata, title. Breaking point here. What our metadata has. Okay, rimette intent data. Okay, anything else now? Connection. We have some problems somewhere in the same point. See where we're doing the mistake. So red. Okay, supposed to be mapping here. This index out of range. Data. So metadata. Or not, metadata is not by key. Actually, list keys to find. Okay, let's pick that. Okay, let's fix that. So we have to go back to metadata. And then I have to have this data here. Data. Then so we're gonna look through each data and grab the item ID and set it as the key. So let's see if it works now. Item data. Yeah, it's working. It worked. Okay, it apparently worked. Let's check on our database. I have it here. Let's take a look at the keys. I have some data here already. And you can look at the keys. So now we have chat flow docs index, and you can see chat flow doc data index here, the key, and you can see the value of that key, which is the item ID, title, text, our text vector, and our app, which is chat. We can also look at the index itself. You can see ft info and chat flow docs, and here you can look at our index, which is text vector, and the app, one type tag and another type vector. So I think it worked, and we already have our docs into the Reds data vector, and we'll be able to perform some semantic queries very soon. So let's wrap up for this lesson and see you on the next one.